Hello, Philadelphia! I'm Bruce Buffer. It's time for the Anthony Gorgano Show!
Live from the Xfinity Studio. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Happy playoff Friday. What a weekend we have in store. It's rivalry weekend that begets an incredible time in our town. Phillies, Braves tonight, all weekend. Flyers, Penguins, game one. Out tomorrow night, prime time, ESPN. And then Sixers, Celtics, 1 o'clock on Sunday. What an awesome weekend, man. This is what we love. This is why we love sports. This is what we do. This is us, right? Where we just dive in all weekend long. Playoffs have started. The draft's coming up in less than a week. This is the greatest. And it starts with the jersey hanging right by my left, right over my left shoulder. The orange and the black, Everybody is agog over the Flyers. And tomorrow night it starts, right? Flyers, Penguins, game one, the old versus the young. Sidney Crosby came into this league in 2005. Porter Martone was born in 2006. It's freaking awesome, man. The Penguins. So yesterday, the Flyers had practice, and they had a big team thing. They did film study. They did everything. So I talked to Todd last night. In fact, I wrote a piece that'll be up in a little while on PHLY on Tockett, because he's at the center of this thing, right? Rick is at the center of it. And Todd last night, he was telling me about what was happening yesterday, and pretty awesome, right? Like, the team's ready. Like, he gave his speech. He gave his moment, his big talk. It's centered around the idea that, listen, the Penguins have all this playoff experience. Everybody's making a big deal that they have over 1,100 games in playoff experience compared to the Flyers, who have a cumulative total of just over 100. So we know that you're facing Crosby and Malkin and Letang. I mean, these names have been etched in spring forever. The Penguins, the Cups, the other side of the state, the Battle of Pennsylvania. And here come the upstart Flyers. And Doc told him yesterday, listen, we've been playing playoff hockey for a month. So don't think about those numbers like, this has been playoff hockey. We've been playing it. We've been playing high wire hockey over the last month. Just play your game and we'll be fine. Don't panic. Don't worry. Just play your game. And the one thing about the Penguins is that they're vulnerable on the other end. Like, they're a good offensive team, but, Skinner's not great at goal. He could be had. Their defense is not especially clampy. Like, you could score. I think this is going to be an incredible series. I think it's going to be a fun series. And I think the momentum and the youth wins out. I cannot wait. I think they win. We're going to get all fired up, man. It's going to be an incredible day leading into puck drop tomorrow night. The Flyers-Penguins are the marquee matchup, so much so that ESPN put them on prime time. Like, there was talk, is it Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock? No, they wanted Flyers-Pens 8 p.m. Saturday night. Let's go. Prime time. And then we wake up and we watch Sixers Celtics. It's a great weekend, man. Great weekend. Phillies, Braves, all weekend long. But just to get you hyped up for what's going to happen, and we welcome back the Flyers to the playoffs in a big way. The Flyers put out a hype video yesterday. We want to play this for you because VT came in. I think he was walking through the glass doors. He was ready to get nuts.
It's the greatest hype video maybe a Philadelphia sports team's ever made.
He was getting nuts. So let's play it. Here we go. Get fired up.
The games where every shift mattered. The nights the building shook, a sea of orange, where Flyers playoff hockey wasn't just entertainment. It was an experience. It was an identity. You never forget that. You just miss it.
It pinballs to the crease. Score! Mike Richard! Flyers win!
It's been a long time since this city felt that fire, but the heart never left. That feeling in your gut, that pressure in your chest, it's always there. Because Flyers hockey isn't just watched. The orange and black aren't just colors. They're a creed, unspoken, unwritten, but always felt. This is a franchise that never waited for anything, that made its name the hard way, the Flyers way. This team wasn't supposed to be here yet, and that's exactly why they are. Uninvited, unapologetic, playing the way the city understands, by earning everything, never asking, only taking.
Nobody saw this. I don't believe anybody saw this. Like, I buried them about a month and a half ago. You know what? F*** everybody.
And when we ignite the orange, we don't just light a fuse. We awaken every fan who's been waiting, every voice that's been quiet for too long, every kid who's never felt this, and everyone who remembers it perfectly. So if you've stepped away, welcome back. If you're new here, there's room for you. If you've been waiting, this is it. This is your moment too. Believe again. Flyers playoff hockey has returned. Ignite the orange.
Chills.
Dude.
Ignite the orange, VG.
Uninvited.
Yeah.
Unapologetic.
Look, uninvited was the one
Yeah,
word.
that's
Uninvited is the greatest word.
Bleep everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on.
I love Todd. I'm about to curse myself. Oh my God, that was incredible.
Dude, they're a
man.
franchise right now. They're on fire. That video is so good. I've watched it like 9 times in the last 12 hours.
I know.
It's ridiculous.
It's so good. It really is.
Yeah, and I guess I had read or heard Todd, he had everyone's predictions posted in the locker room the whole season, and a lot of people have him coming in last place in the division.
Yeah.
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 That's what he's like, please, like, I think that was a moment. He's like, saw what they predicted. Bleep everybody.
Yeah. He's great. Like they had this big moment yesterday. There's something about the hockey coach rant, like the speech, right? You know, obviously Herb Brooks.
Yeah.
Right. But they all do it. I mean, Laviolette had a great one.
We got Freddie Shero.
Right? Like, let's play with some job. Right? Yeah. Walk and what is it?
Win. I don't know. Win together.
Walk forever.
Yeah.
You know, just incredible words. And so talk with that. They had this great day of practice, film study. They had dinner together, steak and lobster. The chef made some steak and lobster together. You know, everybody ate together, hung out, and had this, moment, man.
Yeah.
And I spoke to Todd last night about 10:30. And, he was amped up. Like, it's nuts. He's like, I was thinking about it's why I wanted to write the story about him. But, he's at the center of this, right? He's a guy that won 3 cups as a player and a coach in Pittsburgh, who, knows Crosby. He goes, I love Sid, but hey, it's all about rivalry, man. Like handshakes. He had a great line where he goes, handshakes at the end of the series, man.
Yeah.
It's all about that. And one of the things he said, he goes, we can win. Like, we can win. Like, there is a lot of belief that they can win this series. They're a pretty substantial underdog, like you pointed out yesterday. But I think there's a belief in that room that they can win.
There's a belief bigger. I mean, I'm a big fan. I read the Hockey News, and the quote that stuck out to me, one of the writers, the Flyers are on a massive heater right now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
they are.
And the national people are like, this team's buzzing. This team is the team you don't want to play. And I talked to my Pittsburgh friends out there, and they're worried. They're hoping for average goaltending out of Skinner. Like, that's what they're hoping for. If we could just get average goaltending, like, that's not a winner's mentality at all. That's scared.
Yeah,
They know what's coming.
Because I think if you buzz, right? Like, if you buzz, you'll score.
Yeah, he's going to give up the easy goals where it's just deflated.
You got to make sure that you are a little selfish and not looking for the perfect pass, and you got to fire, man. I think this is about firing pucks.
You just pepper them. Yeah,
I think it's about firing pucks. I think you got Martone up in front, and you're going to roll 3 lines. It'd be interesting because if Bump is in a lineup, because I think he's thinking about maybe figuring out a way to get Bump in. They're excited. They're confident. I think this is going to be a great moment, dude. I feel it.
I mean, they got a lot of playoff experience, but it's been a while since they've been good in the playoffs.
Right.
I don't know when the last series
the
Penguins won.
Right, but the story is like you have these, mythical players for 20 years. Like 20 years.
Yeah.
Long time. Like,
Yeah.
20 years, Crosby, Sid the Kid. Like, you think about it, he's now Sid the middle age.
Sid the senior.
Right.
AARP.
He's even better. Like, he's with us.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's wild about it.
And there's that great quote, like 15 years ago, he hates us. He hates the Flyers. It's circulating.
It's great, man. It's really, really good. It's good stuff. Good theater. And it's, it's the state.
Right.
Pennsylvania. Right? Like, that's what's so freaking cool about it.
The whole setup's ridiculous. It's like perfectly, this is the return. When in that video where they're like, Flyers playoffs are back. It's like, and this is the perfect return.
It is.
This is the perfect return.
You got Flyers and Penguins.
Flyers, Penguins, the old guard, the new kids.
Yeah, it's perfect. It really is. It's
great drama.
It's unbelievable drama.
And like you said, it's prime time, Saturday night, 8:00. Great time.
They were so into it. Like, you could see ESPN was just fired up over this whole thing.
Yeah.
How about it? Like, I can't believe it. I'm so excited. And then, you wake up and then, hey, it's still Sixers Celtics in the playoffs on a Sunday in April.
I know.
Right? Like, I
know. It's hard.
Listen, I know they probably, probably get ugly or whatever, but I'm starting to bubble up with kind of excitement for that too.
You are?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, kind of, I'm not approaching it any other way than I just know what Sixers Celtics means on the landscape, right? It's just one of the greatest rivalries. Well, as one-sided as it is, it brings me back, man.
For sure. And, I was on an island yesterday, and I found an old timer came up to me last night, and he's like, I feel like the Sixers win the first game. And I was like, that's what I'm saying. I was like, the kids are going to have the juice. Celtics taking them for granted. I was like, they're going to come back and smack them in the face. And they're going to take the first one. Who knows?
You think?
Who knows what happens after that?
I hope so, bro.
I was like, thank God for you. I don't know how drunk you are, but you're talking my language. Everyone was mocking me for saying something like that.
Awesome. I mean, that would be a huge upset. What are they, 12-point underdogs?
Yeah, that was yesterday. It could be 14 today.
Yeah, I mean. But hey, this is the era of belief, right? April hits, playoff hits. It's the time for belief.
As Todd said, bleep everybody.
That's it. Maybe we'll get a Walker gem tonight against the Braves. Maybe Taiwan.
You got a better
Toss
chance
is
of the
gem.
Sixers winning game
Well,
one.
that was my question. What's the better chance? Taiwan pitching well against Atlanta, or Sixers beat Boston?
Sixers beat Boston.
That's pretty cool, man.
Let's see what the spread is. 12.5. What
That Park's at?
Yeah, so
12.5.
It's 12.5.
All right, let's go. That's all I can say. Let's go.
Got nothing to lose. Biggest dogs on the slate.
I mean, that's what it is.
It's even more motivation.
That's what it is. We have the schedule for the series. You have the series, Jules. Let's put it up there for Flyers Pens. Monday night is game 2 at 7:00. So we'll have Monday night game 2. Wednesday, here it is. Wednesday here for game 3. So our first playoff home game
Wednesday
is with fans in 8 years will happen on Wednesday, April 22nd. And
there's a three day gap, I guess, because there's a concert, Sixers.
Yeah, and then Saturday is game 4, and that's another 8 p.m. tilt. Gotta love that. Like Saturday night at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. What? Like that's good. Look at this.
Something about it too. I'm just like, I don't even have to think of any plans for Saturday night. There's a lot of pressure sometimes on Saturday night. Now it's like done. 8:00. I got it made. Flyers.
There's a lot of pressure on Saturday night for plans. How about this guy?
What?
My God. I wish I had that problem.
It's hard out there, man. Let's find something new and fun to do every Saturday.
Man's complaining about it.
Now we're locked in.
Talk to me.
Wifey, we're locked in. The next 2 Saturdays, don't ask me what's going on. Make plans. Do your thing. I'm busy.
Now, will you go out to watch them?
I think I'm going to. I think this feels like such a communal experience right now.
I will tell you, watching Flyers playoffs out is fun.
As long as they have the volume of the game,
you have to add the volume.
Then I think I'm in.
You have to have the volume, but when you're out and you got a nice packed bar.
Yeah, I think this is going to be fun.
Not overly packed, but a nice packed bar, and you get to watch the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun.
And there's FOMO. Like when they win, I want to be with everyone, high-fiving, screaming. I don't want to be on my couch. Football, I'm always locked and loaded on my couch.
Yes. Yeah.
But I feel like I'm going to be
something. I agree. There's something communal about hockey playoffs.
The city's just been waiting so long to feel optimistic like this with this team. So I want to be out with the people.
Yeah. Yeah, I think everybody's talking about it. It's pretty cool. The jerseys are everywhere. They're all
everywhere.
There's a lot of hype and excitement for the whole thing, man. It's kind of like it's what we do.
It's infectious right now.
It really is. It's fun, and I want everybody to enjoy it because it's been such a long time. And again, the beauty, what makes this fun and real, is the fact that this is a young group with such a high ceiling moving forward, right? That it's not like some old team, mediocre team that got hot and got into the playoffs and
feels like the beginning of something.
Right.
I don't know where it ends this year, but it feels like the beginning of a little stretch we're going to have.
Yeah, yeah. And I think I think people tap into that.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's the great thing. Like with the beginning of the runs, this is the ascent.
Yeah.
And, we've seen the ascent before. 07 Phillies.
Mm-hmm.
Like when they lost to Colorado, it was disappointing, but it was like, all right, like we'll be back.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. So it almost feels like we're on takeoff and we got an early. When did you get an early takeoff? Like takeoff was supposed to be next year, it felt like.
Yes.
We got this summer, some cap space.
When you rewind the season, and we'll do some with Charlie coming up, but when you rewind the season, it's remarkable that it's this soon.
Yeah.
Like, especially after the cat calls. It was funny in the story. Todd talks about his son saying, "Dad, you're getting killed online."
What's he in our chat?
and it was interesting, right? Like, you take that moment.
Yeah.
And I was at the game. It was March 9th. 6-2 against the Rangers. I took Mosswell and his two
Oh, I
brothers
remember that.
down.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
And, they get smoked. People are leaving early. And it was like you heard like the boo.
Yeah.
It was just terrible. And after the game, I saw Todd. I'm like, dude, just, you know what? Stay the course, right? You got to believe in your plan. Like, block it all out. Let's go. And then, like, who thinks they go on this incredible run?
Incredible run.
Starting on March 10th.
I think one of the things you have to give Taki credit for is far too often in sports, coaches or executives, they think they're the smartest person in the room, and they're stubborn. And when he reaches that story where he reaches out to Peter DeBoer, who's not working, and is like, hey, man, what do you think? Take a look. You got any advice for the defense?
System,
and they switch it up. You got to give coaches props to do that, man. There's a lot of coaches who won't do that.
Yes.
And I think that was a big move by Tak.
I agree. I'm with you. All right. Lots to do today. It's going to be a fun show as we get in. Charlie's coming up, so we're going to dive into it. We got Charlie's practice notes. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we'll talk to Charlie O, who's going to be on his way to Pittsburgh to cover this thing. We'll talk to Kyle Neubeck, who's going to be talking about Sixers and Celtics. Our buddy Kyle from the All PHLY Sixers show. Then we got all kinds of fun. TV Todd's like freaking out. Danny D.
TV Todd.
And in our love Philly hour, Pat Croce will join us.
Oh man,
you want to talk about?
He just got
off
the mountain.
Yes, Mount Everest.
Yeah.
So he climbed the Walt Whitman Bridge and he climbed Mount Everest. All right.
The Walt Whitman Bridge is crazy scary too.
All right. So we'll talk to the great Pat Croce coming up in the 11 o'clock hour. We switched up our back in the day moment, like not back in the day. We're doing the 50 greatest moments, or actually the greatest moments, not 50, the greatest moments over the last 50 years. And one of them is the pre-fight against the Canadians.
Oh, so epic.
Pat was on the ice with his shower shoes in the middle of the brawl. It was pretty wild. It was pretty awesome. So we'll talk. It happened in 1987. Pretty wild. So we got all kinds of things to get to.
Like I said, I love our chat. We're all flyered up, and then where is he? Mark Shark just says, Philly suck.
We got the Braves, man.
Philly suck.
I'm hoping that they catch some good vibes, dude. That's the only thing I can hope for. All right, let's talk about some of our friends, shall we? Time for the Bet Park Sportsbook online casino app on this big weekend. What'd you say, the Flyers?
12.5.
The Sixers are 12.
Oh, Sixers 12. Yeah, the Flyers are 12. Might be a problem.
Yeah. Sixers on 1 o'clock on Sunday. A full weekend.
Flyers are plus 123.
Flyers plus 123. It's gone down.
It is. Penguins minus 140.
Against the Penguins. Oh, look at that. And you can bet on more than just the score. All the props you want. Maxi's points, Martone's goals. It's all right there on the app. Right now, new casino users get 250 bonus spins on the hot online slot game, the Sweetest Collectum, plus up to $1,000 bonus back in the first 24 hours. You can play all your favorite casino games for real money, hundreds of hot online slots, Cleopatra, Huff and More Puff, you name it, and all the sports. That's what we like. Right there on the app, there's always another way to win. You got to be 21 in PA, New Jersey, Michigan, Maryland. BetParks.com has all the details. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Now let's talk about Rita's. Rita's, be cool. Go to Rita's. How about the Gelati Sunday? Sunday.
Oh, Sunday. Tuesday.
Has officially arrived, and the thing is ridiculous. Why settle for just one flavor? You get everything. Rita's Gelati Sunday. You're getting layers of their classic Italian ice, that rich, creamy, frozen custard, and then topping it off with whatever you're in the mood for. Full customization. Mix, match, build your own masterpiece. Every cup is different. Every combo hits. Once you try it, you're not going back to just one flavor again. So if you've been looking for an excuse to hit Rita's, this is it. Stop by your local Rita's today. Build your Gelati Sunday exactly how you want it. Don't forget to download the Rita's app. You can find the nearest location. Make this sweetest season yet with Rita's iced custard and happiness. Treat yourself to a scoop of happiness today. Be cool. Go to Rita's. Yes. All right. Now let's do our man, Charlie O, and the practice notes from yesterday. Jules, let's hit it.
But with all that youth, it's fair to ask, how will Rick Tocchet handle all the kids in this lineup? After all, it is playoff hockey. It's unforgiving. One mistake can cost you a game, can cost you a series. If one or more of the kids is struggling early in a game, how is Tocchet going to handle it? And I asked him that today.
Well, it depends on the mistakes, right? For me, I'm a big, you always want to, give a guy a chance after he makes a mistake. But if it's and I don't think it's going to be a lack of effort shift or just a blatant, if it happens twice and it's blatant, not back check, then you got to look at it. But, guy makes a mistake, yeah, you get him out there. But I think the last month, if you look at the players, the young guys, they've got out there pretty regular even after a mistake. But hey, that's our call. I have to make some decisions because now it's do or die right in games. But but I don't want these guys to be nervous if they make a mistake. Then I'm not doing my job. If I'm making these guys nervous, well, so there's kind of a sweet spot that I got to find with those kids.
Michkov in particular has upped his game dramatically over these last few weeks. He finished out the season in style with a goal and 2 assists, and now he's looking to carry over that success into the playoffs. And according to Rick Tocchet today, he thinks that part of the explanation for that success might come from the fact that Michkov over these last few weeks has just gotten integrated more fully into the team. He's building relationships with a lot of the young guys who have come up recently, guys like Denver Barkey, guys like Alex Bump. I cover practice every day, and you see Michkov more than he used to talking to players, talking to teammates, laughing with them. He's had conversations I've seen with Porter Martone as well. It just seems like Michkov is starting to fit in just a little bit better, and it's helping him out on the ice, according to Tocchet.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Early this season, not a loner, but he was kind of alone a lot. Now he's around with the young guys. I think it's huge development for Mitch. Even with a language barrier, I think he's actually stepped up his English, but he's more involved. Like I told you the other night, he's out to dinner with 3 guys, the rookie guys. I think that's huge for his development too. I think a lot of it has to do with obviously Mitch. But it's also the young guys. I mean, Barks is out there talking to him like, hey, on this play, do this. There's communication amongst the young guys. It's not, hey, let the vet talk to him or let the coach talk to him. The young guys are handling that leadership stuff too, which is big.
How about it? That's a great sign. Having Michkov more assimilating,
yeah.
Like the assimilation was a problem. Look, listen. This, what took place was not uncommon. You got a talented guy, young player who, has got all this creativity and he needs to be reined in, right? You can't linger. Your shifts can't linger.
Right.
Listen to the coach. He's like, all that little things like that. That matters, right? But it also matters that you assimilate within the group. So there's no, the room is safe, right? You want the room. You don't want egos and jealousy. You want to build it correctly. And I know that that was first and foremost on his mind is creating the room the way he wanted to.
And I think the language barrier and just the culture of the Russians, maybe they're not as, embracing and easy to, I think they're a little guarded, they seem, as a culture. So I think that was something he had to work through. I think the language is getting better, and it seems like.
Well, I think Martone helps,
kid.
right? And that's why, all this stuff is. That's why, I thought the way Tocchet handled it was right. We talked about it with the chat, and I know they were upset, but look what's happened. He's starting to find himself, and he's starting to have success. Now joining us on the Xfinity mobile call-in line, it's the big takeaway, of course, Flyers and Penguins with our man Charlie O.
Charlie O'Connor, hockey wins best in the biz. Everyone agrees. It's Charlie.
Here he is, our man on the scene's been, I'm very happy for you. You have done an incredible job covering the team through the years. and you got a real team now. It's just the start of something big, and you're in the playoffs, and it feels real and it feels right. And I'm happy for you that you get a chance to cover it and show your extraordinary skills with a team that matters and the story that matters.
Okay. Hello. Yeah, thanks, Anthony. No, it's been fun. And hopefully, as you said, this is a start of something that's going to go way longer than this year, because obviously the Flyers, that's been their mantra since they launched this rebuild, is that, we don't want this just to be a 1 year in, 1 year out kind of thing. They want to build a sustainable contender. And I think they're on the right track, to be sure. A lot of work still to be done, and we'll see how this playoff run goes, but it does seem like they're on the right track with the amount of young guys they have and the amount of assets they've accumulated. Now, players need to come through, and the front office needs to make the right moves, but I'm feeling pretty good.
So let's dive into the matchup. It's such a fascinating matchup, right? Like this matchup between Flyers and Penguins, old versus young, former Cup winners and playoff success. They have over 1,100 playoff games experience compared to like just over 100 for the Flyers. It's a great storyline, right? Opposite ends of the state, and Tocchet's in the middle of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's the way I've described it since the start, since this became clear it was what the matchup was going to be, is the Flyers aren't overmatched. This is not as if the Flyers are playing a team that is a true Stanley Cup favorite, a team that's kind of on a different level than the Flyers. Penguins came into the season in a similar situation to the Flyers, as in most people thought they were going to be one of the worst teams in the league. A lot of people pick the Penguins to have the worst record in the league. They've overachieved dramatically. They have a lot of guys who have overperformed expectations in the same way that the Flyers have. And after the Penguins' top guys, it's not like you look at their roster and are terrified. It's not like you look at them and think, man, how are the Flyers going to match up? That said, the Penguins are the favorites for a reason. The Flyers are going to have to deal with some matchup issues that they are going to have to overcome. Number one, they need to figure out some way to not shut down, but at least slow down Sidney Crosby. That's going to be tough. The Flyers just don't have really anybody down the middle that on paper matches up with Sidney Crosby, one of the best players of all time. Number two, special teams. Flyers power play has been really bad. Their penalty kill has been wildly inconsistent. The Penguins are top 10 in both categories. That's going to be tough. So they have things they need to overcome, but in a short series, if you have a couple guys that dramatically overperform what you expect them to do on your side, if your goalie plays really well, and the Flyers certainly have the goalie advantage on paper, you can come away with a win. I don't think the Flyers are overmatched. I think they're the underdog. I think they're rightfully the underdog, but I think they have a real shot to win the series.
Yeah, and you mentioned it, like the big advantage obviously is Vladar over Skinner. Skinner can be had. Talk about inconsistent. One of the reasons why Edmonton it felt like it's chasing its tail was because of Skinner. And that's where the Flyers have a monster advantage, the way Vladar's played.
Yeah, they're going to need to get to the net. And that's something that Todd has been preaching really all year. I'd say over the last month and a half, the team has really embraced it and done a better job of getting to the net, getting traffic. But they're going to need to make Skinner's life difficult, because this is a goalie that can be had. This is a goalie that, look, when Skinner's on, he's really, really good. And maybe the Flyers will get unlucky and they'll get good Stuart Skinner for 4 or 5 games of the series, and that'll be the end of it. But when Skinner's off and you can get to him, he is really off. He's gotten pulled in many, many playoff games because he just doesn't have it on a given night. And if the Flyers can get in his grill, can make it tough, can get to the danger areas, can get traffic in front of them, they could score a fair amount of goals in this series. And I think that's really their pathway to winning, because you expect the Flyers are going to play good defense. They've been playing really good defense under Rick Tocchet all year. The problem has been goal scoring. If you can find a way to puncture Skinner, then that problem's solved.
Yeah.
And getting to him, he has a tendency to get in trouble early. So I think you just got to start firing shots early at him, because he gives up an easy one here and there. It's a backbreaker when he does, and I think that's a chance that they have to just fire shots early at him.
Well, you said it too. Fire shots, Charlie. Like that, you can't wait for the perfect pass. Sometimes this team had a tendency to kind of try to make the perfect play. You got to fire. You got to be a little selfish here.
Yeah, and that has been a problem for the Flyers. VG, you mentioned about, you got to get him off his game early. That's also been a problem for the Flyers. They gave up the first goal 50 times out of 82 games in the season. They got off to slow starts regularly. Now, that got better as the season progressed. By the end of the year, they were better, but there were still plenty of games during that end of season run where the Flyers were not at their best in the first period and they played themselves into the game. That's going to be something that they either have to improve upon very quickly in the series, or it's going to be a lesson they'll learn moving forward that, these slow starts in the playoffs, they'll kill you. We'll see. This is still a very young team. They're going to be learning on the fly. Now, they learned a lot over the last month playing in playoff-ish games, but let's be honest with you, as tough as it is to make the playoffs and go on a run in March and April, playoff games are on an entirely different level, and we'll see how quickly the Flyers players can adjust to it.
Yeah, and I think the big message that Todd said to his team yesterday was, hey, look, we've been playing playoff hockey, right? Like, we've been in that for a month. Just don't panic. Just play your game. Like, they're a young group. They just can't panic.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, that's where the leaders are going to have to come into play, and that is actually one thing that does worry me a little bit in this series is that I've got the sense that a lot of the veteran leaders are pretty banged up at this point. So I'm just not sure how much they'll be able to do in terms of carrying the offensive load. Like, this may be a series where if the Flyers pull the upset, they're going to need guys like Martone, guys like Mishkov, guys like Forster, guys who maybe don't have the mileage on their tires the same way that guys like Konechny and Tippett do over the course of the season. I mean, Forster missed obviously months with his injury. Mishkov hasn't been running to the ground from an ice time standpoint. Martone has played college hockey most of the year. Those guys might have to step up because the veterans may just not have a lot left in the tank.
What do you see lineup wise? Do you see any changes? What do you think when you look at this lineup, how do you think Todd approaches it?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because the lineup that they've run over these last few weeks, they've pretty much stuck to since Martone has come out. However, it's the playoffs. Now you're talking about matching up with one specific team. I wonder if Tockett's going to want a little bit more size in the lineup. Maybe he makes some tweaks on that front. I think both Alex Bump and Denver Barkey are going to get in this series. I think there's going to be a bit of a rotation there. But, I looked at the numbers, and that third line is better, at least from a play driving standpoint, with Alex Bump over Denver Barkey. So maybe Bump's a guy who they may look to get in, whether it's game one or whether it's early. I mean, I don't like, even if you're the most optimistic person in the world, I don't think the Flyers are going to sweep this series. Like, they're going to lose some games. And when you lose games, you make changes. So whatever the lineup is in game one, I'm not expecting that to be the lineup every single game. I'm sure there will be changes made. I'm sure that there's going to be some rotations involved. And I think the Flyers will make some lineup tweaks, and we will probably see some of those today, unless the Flyers just try to hide it. But they are practicing in Voorhees today before they head to Pittsburgh, so we might get an idea of what some of those lineup changes might be.
All right. What's your advantage? What's matchup? What are you looking at matchup wise, where the Flyers could have an advantage?
Yeah, well, I mean,
Line
obviously.
versus line.
Yeah, I mean, obviously in goal, but if you're talking about individual lines, I think the Flyers might be able to exploit Pittsburgh's third line. It's centered by an 18-year-old. He turns 19 on Sunday, Ben Kindle. First-round pick last year, really impressive player, but at the end of the year, it looked like he was tailing off. It looked like he might have hit the rookie wall, and the Flyers might be able to exploit that. Like, I'm intrigued about the matchup of the Kindle line versus the Cates line. If you can get Cates and Mishkov out against Kindle, maybe that's something you can exploit, especially if Kindle's starting to run on fumes, given the fact this is his first year, given the fact that he's just 18. Had 5 points in his last 19 games. His underlying metrics kind of went into the toilet at 5-on-5 over the final 20 or so games. It seems like it might be catching up with them, and the Flyers might be able to take advantage.
Charlie, on the 5-on-5 situation, Pittsburgh's kind of elite offensively on 5-on-5. They struggle, but the Flyers do really well limiting chances on 5-on-5, and they're not terrible offensively 5-on-5. Do you see an advantage going either way?
You know what? I'm not sure. I think the big 5-on-5 matchup is going to be Pittsburgh's offense versus the Flyers defense, because that's the fire versus fire. Flyers are really good defensively. Pittsburgh's really good offensively. If the Flyers can slow, they don't have to shut down. I'm not expecting like repeated shutouts from Dan Vladar in the series, but if they can slow down Pittsburgh's offense with their defense, then it puts less pressure on your offense. Because I'm not expecting the Flyers offense to light it up. That's just not who they are. They've been certainly better since they've gotten Martone and Forrester back, but I'm not expecting them to go crazy and have this turn into 2012 all over again. But if it can get to a point where the Flyers only have to score 3 goals to win as opposed to 5 goals to win, they have a much, much better chance of winning the series. And that's going to come down to whether the 5-on-5 defense can hold up. And then, of course, the special teams as well, which is a major concern.
The special teams, though, I was reading some Pittsburgh threads and articles. I guess the last 6 weeks, they say the penalty kill and power play have struggled with Pittsburgh. They're kind of middle of the road the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, they have to a degree. The one thing about the penalty kill is that they lost Blake Lizotte a few weeks ago, who's like their penalty kill extraordinaire. It looks like he may be back for game 1. Doesn't look like he's that far away. Not sure if he'll be back for game 1, but should be back in this series. So that should help their penalty kill. As for the power play, you're right. It hasn't been that good over the last few weeks, but VG, I'm not going to lie, like, I look at the guys they have on that power play. Like I'm not buying that power play is going to be bad in this series, given the talent they have, just because they weren't that great the last few weeks of the year.
Yeah. Martone, what do you expect from him?
I have no idea what to expect from Porter Martone. Because, I mean, you look at his numbers so far, he's got 10 points in 9 games. He could be a real difference maker in the series. By the same token, he's still a 19-year-old who is getting his first taste of playoff hockey. Like, there's a world where he looks overwhelmed and he's not a guy you can depend upon. Like, one thing that's interesting going back, I go back to that Carolina game, because that's the good and the bad of what we might see from Martone in this series. I thought in the first period of that Carolina game, he looked totally overwhelmed on the forecheck, was getting dominated along the boards. He was fumbling the puck, and I'm like, eesh, this may be the game where we're seeing Martone struggle with the increased pace, the increased physicality. And then in the second period, he makes a great pass to Trevor Zegras, helps spark the play that ends in the Mishkov goal. So it might be a mixed bag. I think that's probably what I'm expecting from Martone. I'm expecting at some points him to look a little overwhelmed. And then I'm expecting at other points the skill and the upside to shine through. I think it's unfair to expect him to carry the load in this series, but I also think it's setting the bar too low to expect him to be a non-factor. I think him being the X factor in the series is probably the best way to look at it from a 19-year-old like Martone.
Yeah. Listen, for the most part, you love the shot volume, and against a guy like Skinner, like, I would give him green light all day long, man. Let's go. Like, fire away.
Well, if anything, over the last few games in the lead up to the into the postseason, he was maybe shooting a little too less often than you would want. There were a few opportunities he was passing up on shots, and I would think the coaching staff is going to tell him, fire away, kid. If you're on a 2-on-1, don't be looking for the pass. Don't be looking for the backdoor play.
Well, there was that one
Just
the
put
other
it on
night
net.
where he's coming down the left side, and he tries to make the pass, to your point, and that's when he had to shoot it. I agree.
Yeah, and he has a great shot. He has that knack to get pucks on net as well, which is really important in the playoffs too. You don't have to necessarily score on your shot. Put it on net, create a rebound. Yes. Everybody's going to be crashing the net. Like, that's pivotal in the playoffs because, look, there are some pretty goals in the playoffs because it's still hockey, but it's a lot of rebound goals. It's a lot of digging away and just pushing pucks past a goalie. You get pucks on net, you create that chaos, and then the other guys on your line can attack.
Yeah, I'm with you, buddy. All right, when you heading out to Pittsburgh?
Heading out to Pittsburgh tonight. My flight is tonight, but first I got to go to practice in Voorhees before the Flyers themselves head out. So
we're looking forward to it. Yeah. Coverage from Charlie O, killing it. Do me a favor, read that story I sent over, so I need you to proofread it.
I will. I'm actually all morning. I've been working on my my awards ballot for the NHL awards. That's due at 5 p.m. Once I get done that, then hopefully I'll have time to edit your piece and get that up, but also I got to run to practice. So
well, do what you got to do. I'll get Ben to do it. All right.
It'll get going. Don't worry.
All right. See you, child. Good stuff, brother. Charlie
right, take care.
on the Xfinity mobile call-in line. All right. Let's take a quick TO. We'll come back. The brain.
Now listen, Did we vet him at all? If he comes in with anything negative about the Flyers, we just got to cut his mic off, mute him.
No, he's
Julian,
not.
mute him.
He likes the Flyers. He said the other day he likes the Flyers.
I know, but if he starts saying,
he's not going negative. Leave
all
the
right.
brain alone.
All right. I can't handle that today.
No, he's not going negative. Listen, he likes the Flyers. He said it.
All right. I don't even say I picked the Penguins to win the series.
He's not.
All right.
I guarantee he will not say that.
Okay.
All right. I guarantee it. All right. Let's take a quick TO. Let's talk about Xfinity. Xfinity's 5-year price guarantee. What if you can have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi? And what if you can keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's Xfinity's 5-year price guarantee. Imagine Wi-Fi that makes everything in your home work together, that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense that let you stream the game even when the whole family is online. All your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees. Xfinity's best equipment included. Take it from me, a lot can change in 5 years. Championships are won, records broken, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi should stay reliable and the price should stay put. Lock in your price, unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only, restrictions apply.
For the past 30 years, Golden Nugget Jewelers has operated out of the very same location in the heart of Philadelphia. Customers from across Pennsylvania, New Jersey, even Baltimore, New York City have come to Golden Nugget Jewelers to find that perfect engagement ring, wedding band, or gift. Their staff is highly trained and dedicated to providing a personalized experience. I've gone there a couple of times. I had to replace a diamond in a ring. I had to get a necklace. They're not pushy. The staff is super informative. It's just a great shopping experience. They have a vast selection of engagement rings and wedding bands, along with high-end watches, fashion jewelry, sparkling diamond necklaces, bracelets, earrings, and everything else you could think of. You receive a final cleaning and written appraisal with every engagement ring purchase. And Golden Nugget Jewelers, they're family-owned. They've been operating since 1987, right there on Chestnut Street at 8th in downtown Philadelphia. You deserve an expert, and you deserve the best price. Golden Nugget Jeweler, where Philly gets engaged. Visit goldennuggetjewelry.com to learn more and get that special gift.
That's right, VG. Golden Nugget Jewelers.
Love those guys.
Where Philly gets engaged. All right. Brain's coming up, but before the brain, we're all flyered up. So's Bill.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little, let's go to a little Philadelphia.
Hop on, bandwagoners, and get ready for the worst decision you've ever made, supporting the Philadelphia Flyers with everything you've got. Hello, friends, and welcome to Philadelphia, brought to you by our friends at Togo. You know, there's plenty dividing us these days, and what we do not need is a division amongst our city's sports fans. With the Philadelphia Flyers back in the playoffs and looking as promising as they have in nearly 2 decades, I'd like to, as ambassador of Philadelphia hockey to the mainstream, welcome any and all aboard the Flyers bandwagon. Please join us, casual Flyers fans. And even those who've never watched a hockey game before, there is no better time to start than in the Stanley Cup playoffs, the absolute best postseason tournament in all of sports. You know, I've been a fan of this team for like 34 years, and one thing I can tell you that has never once crossed my mind, I wish there were less people into the Flyers. I have been a fan of good and bad Flyers teams, just like Phillies teams, good and bad. And you know what they both have in common? They're both way more fun in a jam-packed electric atmosphere than when the place is dead and half empty. So make room, diehards, because casuals are what make this fun. Are you under the impression that the 2 million people who showed up to those parades in the 70s were all sickos who could recite Bobby Clark's stats from his time playing in Manitoba with the Flin Flon Bombers? Come on, let's all be realistic here. Sports thrive on casuals and bandwagon fans. Not everybody has to know about Sean Podine and Chris Gratton to be worthy of enjoying a sports team that represents an entire heavily populated region. Hockey needs more life breathed into it, especially in this city. After suffering since basically 2012 with this team, we, as the diehards and sickos, should be welcoming new and lapsed fans with open arms, because it means this team finally doesn't look like something between an outhouse fire and a dusty library book. They're young, they're winning, and they're getting better, and that attracts those who weren't here for the duration of the Andrew McDonald contract. And that's good. We know there's nothing better than hockey, so why not share this amazing game? From Philly to Bucks, Chester, Montgomery, and Delco, across the river to Gloucester, where I am, Camden and Burlington counties, all the way down to the shore and into Wilmington and Newark. I want everyone to experience how awesome this sport is and turn them into potential diehard Flyers fans, because everybody starts somewhere, and this right now is one of those entry points. So hop on, bandwagoners, and get ready for the worst decision you've ever made, supporting the Philadelphia Flyers with everything you've got.
Brain. Red, the brain finder.
On the Xfinity Mobile call-in line, The Grind, presented by our friends from the Bet Park Sportsbook online casino app. Brain, happy playoff weekend, buddy.
I can't wait, man. How you doing? Good to see you as always, buddy.
I mean, this is what we live for, right? Like, we still get geeked up after all these years, all these springs, right? That have been the timeline of our lives. We're the same age, and we've gone through this stuff, and, you know, we live for it, and it never gets old, Brain.
No, listen, you're right. But, you know, it's funny hearing that guy saying Sean Podine and Chris Gratton. I just started laughing to myself because, like, I know you're the same way. I'm like, I remember those guys like it was yesterday.
Yeah. We remember those guys and the guys before them too, you know.
Oh, dude, I mean, we could have a list that would, would be pretty, I mean, no question about it. I just
remember long pants Flyers.
I remember that.
Man,
I remember that, man. Oh my God.
Yeah.
The long,
yeah.
Man. Oh, great call by you. Yeah, the long pants Flyers. Oh, that was just a them thing, right? That wasn't the NHL.
Correct? It was just that, and then the Hartford Whalers adopted it.
Yeah. Well, they're probably gonna have to give it back up for adoption. You know. But anyway, I can't wait. Look, you know,
look, it's rivalry weekend too, right? Like Phillies, Braves, Flyers, Penguins, and Sixers, Celtics. Crazy.
You know what this reminds me of, Anthony? Do you remember when, and I got to tell you, I want to say, Anthony, I've been to, and there's only a few people in the world who will know what I'm talking about. But I've been to, I've probably been to, I'm just throwing a number out there. I've probably been to at least 300 live sporting events in my life, probably 500. I don't even know what the number is, but it's a lot. And the loudest I've ever heard any crowd to this day in my life, the second loudest was when I was in Arizona for the Eagles-Arizona game in that dome. It was so loud I couldn't hear it when the Eagles lost with McNabb. But the loudest was, believe it or not, and it reminds me of the Flyers right now, so I'm bringing this up. Remember Larry Brown got the Sixers back into the playoffs for the first time in a zillion years? It was
against Indiana.
They'd been there forever. They played Orlando Magic.
Right.
That was the loudest I've ever heard. Actually, J.J. Daniel, when he scored the goal, Edmonton was not a really loud one. But I remember that was so loud, and I'm thinking, like, the crowd, I'm really excited for the Flyers because it reminds me of that Sixers situation where they hadn't been in the playoffs for so long. The Flyers haven't been in here for so long. It feels like, how many years has it been, Anthony? It feels longer. Whatever it is.
You had the bubble playoffs, which was Fugazi. And then before that, it's 8 years since you'll actually see a playoff game within the stands. But even that year was Fugazi, right? Like, so it's really, you remember the shift against Pittsburgh with Giroux? Like, that's kind of when you kind of had some hope. And in reality, it goes back to 2010 to when they actually had a real run.
Yeah, it's been so freaking long, and I'm excited. I'm excited for, as a Flyer fan, I'm excited, but just for the fan base and everyone, like, because it's like, sometimes you take stuff for granted, right? Like, I remember when I went to school in Michigan, like the Detroit Red Wings every single year were winning the President's Cup, and then they went like 10 years, 12 years without making the playoffs. I was like, Detroit, Hockey Town, USA. So you never know
Home of the
when
Octopus.
yeah, and you never know when your era is there. But it looks like, again, not the knock on wood, I think the Flyers era is on the upswing, where I'm hoping that they're gonna have multiple years in a row where they're hopefully making the playoffs and in contention of winning a cup.
Yeah, I think the same way. Don't let them get a center. Don't let them get Austin Matthews. Ooh. I'm trying not to get
Do you think
greedy,
that's
but
possible?
I do. Like, I don't think
for
it's
real?
impossible. I think he's already talking like he wants to go out. Like, he wants out of Toronto. So
Yeah, well, that would obviously be a massive, like, change for the good if they were to get something like that.
I know.
Wow.
Like, forget about it.
That could change like everything. I mean, they could be like right there as the favorite
Yeah.
out of the East. It's not impossible. You get
Well,
something like that. But we'll see.
I don't want to go pipe dream, because we don't have to. We can enjoy this series. How would you approach the series? You touched on it the other day, but maybe elaborate.
I just think the line now, Anthony. Here's the thing. Look, Pittsburgh's had a really good year. They actually really have. Like, credit to them. They've played well this year. They have. But the way the Flyers have played, I mean, and the way they're playing down the stretch, in my own head, you want to make Pittsburgh like a tiny favorite. I can live with that, but I just think they're too big of a favorite, Anthony. I really, really do. I'm going to bet the Flyers in the series.
Yeah.
I'll bet the
All
Flyers
right.
in every road. I'll bet the Flyers in every
going
road.
Flyers.
Love it.
And I'll bet the Flyers in every road game, because, again, I don't pay for home ice betting standpoint. I'd much rather take the Flyers, let's say, plus 150 in Pittsburgh than minus 110 in Philadelphia. I'd much rather take the plus 150 in Pittsburgh, or plus 145, plus 140, whatever it's going to be. I'm not paying 50 cents for home ice. It's just not worth that. It's not that fans aren't great. It's not that you don't want to play at home, but it's just not worth 50 cents. It just isn't. And that's what that swing is going to be. So I will play every game. I'm going to play, Anthony, every game in Pittsburgh. I will have the Flyers. I have the Flyers in the series. Every game in Philly will be a pass.
Yeah, brain.
But, yeah,
I was worried.
See, I'm not.
I was
at
worried. I
all.
thought you were going to come in here and go to the other side, and I was going to.
No, I think
Julia to shut
again,
your mic off.
No, I think it's like, honestly, I think this is a very close series. Look, we've seen these teams. I mean, it's what I'm look, Flyers, Penguins. Like, it's funny. I don't know if you know this about me, guys, but I bought, like, that bubble hockey.
Yeah.
I bought one of them, and I got a custom one of Flyers, Penguins.
Oh,
So, like,
wow, sweet.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, so I love playing that, man. Like, so like so that's
We
rivalry.
always talk playoff hockey. You and I'll be watching games, texting each other. You're a big playoff
I watch
hockey
like
guy.
every one of them, and like to me, again, this should be a really good series. The games are probably going to be close. It's probably the only thing that scares me about the Flyers, Anthony and VG. Tell me if you agree. Their power play.
Yeah.
And that's just the one thing, because, like, it's so hard to score in these games, and when you get one of those chances, it's like I feel like that's like their bugaboo, where it's just I feel like I don't know where they rank exactly in power play, but it has to be.
I agree. That's a problem.
I know it without even looking. Yeah, and that is a problem, and that's that to me is something that but the only maybe good thing I'll say is maybe in the playoffs, I don't have the data on this. Maybe there's less penalties because of how people play stuff. And if there's less penalties, I actually think it helps a team like the Flyers, because if they're not good on the power play, it means they're even that much better in neutral ice situations. So,
well, I will say this, Frank, because I think your point's correct. I do worry about it. I will say this. The biggest advantage they have is Vladar versus Skinner. And I think
Skinner,
that's huge, man.
Skinner. Yeah, Skinner is just one of those guys that he's probably a great backup, and
Yes,
he's been kind of miscast as a guy that has to And every now and then he does it. It's what I always talk about. It's consistency. That's what makes the great players great. Like Skinner will have like 2 or 3 good games, and then he's just awful.
Yeah.
Where he's just letting in stuff that's just he doesn't have the consistency of a top goalie.
And their back
and that's
end's
just
not
what
great.
it is.
The Penguins' defense isn't great, so they're going to give up chances.
No, again, I think it's going to be a good series, Anthony. Again, I think it's really tight. I think it's really tight. Again, I will be playing, as I said, the Flyers every road game. Sign me up. Flyers series, sign me up. The home games to me, I just don't see an edge because those games are going to be around pick'em. And I think all these games are going to be like 50-50-ish to me. So I don't need to force the Flyers at home. Just my 2 cents.
All right, so let's talk about the other winner team. Sixers Celtics. All right, Brain.
Yeah.
How do you analyze this one? 12.5 on the BetParks Sportsbook app, game 1.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's you think about that, it's just got such a freaking high number. Curious if Embiid had played, how high this number would have been. It probably would have been like more like 8.5. Look, Anthony, to me, the Sixers just are not going to be long for the playoffs. You don't need me to tell you that. It just annoys me from a personal standpoint, Anthony. I think you're the same way as me, where not that I'm happy losing in the playoffs, but losing to Boston, I hate Boston. I despise Boston. I loathe Boston.
It's Boston.
Yeah,
listen, I get it. The Sixers are where they are, but it's why anybody but Boston to get there. First of all, it's a horrendous
Even the
matchup.
Knicks I could live with, but Boston, it gets me so upset. I still, you know what's funny? I'm now 55 years old. I still get legitimately, and you think, okay, the older you get, more mature you get, all that gets thrown out.
No.
But I get more angry now, I think, than I ever have.
I agree.
And I can't help it.
Hey, because they own. You want to talk
angry.
about being owned? Freaking Celtics own us, man.
I can't stand it.
It's terrible.
I hate it.
Not since Andrew Tony.
I actually hate it.
Yeah.
And it does something to me. And I remember being at the arena when the Sixers were up 3-2. Was it like 4 years ago when they had Harden? And they
Dude,
they
game 6, they have the game. They just need a run.
They were up 85-83, I think it was. I was and then they couldn't score at the end.
Couldn't do anything until the last 3 minutes of the game.
And they don't think they even scored. And I just remember being like, just sitting in the parking lot, I'm like, why the hell do I do this to myself?
I know.
All
I needed was like a run in the third
personally.
quarter to go over, to get the lead over 10. And I think that would have been enough.
Yeah, and just losing to this team, I can't take it. And if I'm fair, look, I have to be fair. Since I was a little kid, I remember 1981 losing to the Celtics, like wrecked me. Like wrecked me.
We blew the 3-1 lead
yesterday.
We blew a 3-1 lead.
It was yesterday. I remember it was yesterday, and I feel like we have not. We beat them in '82.
Yeah, they blew the 3-1 lead. It was 3-3. They go back to Boston Garden, and Andrew was the strangler,
Doc
right?
Doc. Oh yeah, they killed him in '82. But have they won a series against Boston since '82? They haven't, right?
No.
And they've probably lost.
Unless they played, because they didn't play him in '83.
I think no, they didn't.
No, they haven't won since Julius. So I'm not sure if they played them at all. They had one other run. I think it was in '86. They lost to Milwaukee. I don't think they played Boston. Boston won it that year.
'86. I don't know. They did not play Boston '86. No.
Yeah, '86.
I'm just.
No, that was it.
I'm looking here, Anthony. I just brought up the data.
'84, they lost to the
82,
Nets.
Yeah, '85, Boston wins 4-1. I remember that was Barkley's rookie year, I believe.
Yeah.
It was 84 Barkley's rookie year. 84 is Barkley's rookie year. 2002, they lose 3 games to 2. That was when they had Paul Pierce. I remember that.
Yes.
2012, they lose. The Celtics win 4-3. I think that's when they had That was Iguodala and maybe Elton Brand maybe even been on that team, if I recall correctly. I remember the Sixers actually, they were a huge underdog last year. They actually played Lou Williams on the team. They actually played pretty well. They lose in 2018 4-1, they lose in 2020 4-0, they lose 2023 4-3. So they've lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight series to this team. So it just angers me to no end that they have to now just be taken to the woodshed against this team, which well, what can I do? It's
I know, dude. I feel the same way. My man Tony the Ref's here. Tone, sit down right behind the thing next to Jules. You relax. Tony the Ref's here with his good-looking Flyers outfit.
Good, man. It looks like he came from a Flyers golf event.
Hey,
well, Flyers beat the Bruins down 3-0, so that I'll use that as my happiness, and they beat them in the Super Bowl. Yes. So that's yes. I'll use that as my Boston.
I hate them. Dude, I'm completely with you. How do you play the series? Can you play maxi points? I don't know. How do you?
You know what I think I haven't done it yet. But I do like the Celtics to win -2.5 games. I do. I don't think Boston's going to win this series 4-2. I don't think the Sixers are going to be able to get. Now maybe they can. I just don't think they're going to. Again, I'm not laying 12.5 points. I thought the line would come in 12. That's about basically exactly what I thought the line would be. I don't see any real edge in this particular spot. To me, again, I'm looking at Boston potentially -2.5 games. So that'll mean the Sixers will have to beat this team twice. Would be stunned if they win at the Garden. Can the Sixers win 2 of 3 home games? I mean, I kind of think it's doubtful. But look, maybe they'll surprise me. I mean, Maxi's incredible. George is playing better.
No, I know, dude.
Anthony, I know a guy that you did not like, and I feel like ever since you said you didn't like him, he's become horrible. Is Quentin Grimes. I thought he showed flashes last year.
Yeah.
I know. Trust me, I know.
Yeah.
You've already proven your case. You won the judge already ruled in your favor. But I was hoping he would just be a little more that player that we saw last year that was scoring 27.
Right, because then you could go 3 guards. They're going to have to go
right.
3 guards at some point and, hope that the Duke could play. I'd say, Brain, what selections you got in the NBA? Give us all your selections in the playoffs.
Yeah, well, I'll give you a couple props, Anthony, that I like in the NBA tonight. Jalen Green, they made 18.5 points. He's been playing unbelievable recently. They need him to score. I thought that number should have been in the 20s. I like Green's over. Draymond Green, 5.5 rebounds. He averages close to 6. He's getting about 25% more minutes in these playoffs. That number should be 6.5. Look, the games tonight, I lean underdog, and I hate Orlando. No one has been more down on the Magic than me. No, when I say no one, I mean no one. And it made me a lot of money fading this team. But I don't think the Hornets should be laying 3.5. I think that line's a tad too high. I'm going to take the Magic getting 3.5 in a game that I say comes down to the end either way. I'll take the 3.5 points. Maybe they lose by 1, 2, or 3. And look, maybe I'm going to choke on this one. It's certainly possible. I like it less of the 2, but I do think Golden State getting that same 3.5. I kind of think it's 50-50-ish. They showed real mettle winning that game against the Clippers. I didn't think the Clippers were going to lose that game. I really didn't. Steph was just incredible. Porzingis actually looked decent. I'll take a shot that's a 50-50 game too. Give me both underdogs.
All right, here you go. Anything baseball?
And
the Phillies
he got
tonight?
bombed. Let me ask you a question. Would you just get rid of would you just invite Taiwan Walker to leave the organization?
To leave the organization?
Yeah, as soon as Wheeler comes back, you're like,
maybe remember they had a thing. You know what I want to do with Taiwan Walker? Here's the thing. I'll let you go. Do you remember the thing with Kyle Kendrick, that prank they pulled on him?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would tell Taiwan Walker he's been traded to the Taiwan League. He's now playing in Taiwan. That's what I would do to Taiwan Walker. You're playing with your namesake. You are no longer an American player. You're now going to be in the Taiwan League because maybe they'll be scared of your name and they'll get. I can't watch. I remember when they signed him, Anthony. I said to you, 4 years, 72 million. This is the worst. It wasn't even hard to see. That's what's annoying. But I can't take it when they run him out there.
I know.
I can't take it.
I feel you, my good brother. He's the worst.
At least we're not Mets fans.
That's it. That's it. We love you, Brain. Thanks, buddy.
Appreciate you guys both.
Appreciate
Guys,
it,
be
brother.
good.
Here he is, the Brain, brought to us by the Bet Park Sportsbook online casino.
So glad he's cool.
Yes. All right. Let's take a quick TO, and then we come back with Kyle. Kyle's tat. Now, I love Kyle Newbeck.
Yes.
All right. You know that. He's one of my, I see him in the office, and he just smiles. Man. He's just the best. I'm going to task him like I tasked Derek and Devon, our great all PHLY Sixers team, to give me any kind of hope.
Hope. Just a little bit of hope. A little bit of hope.
So we come back, Kyle, to give us some hope. All right. But first, let's take a word from our friends. Let's talk about Parks Casino. Yeah. Here we go. Parks Casino. By the way, if you can't get to the sports book, because I really think you should, you got the Bet Parks app. All right. But it's a big sports weekend. So if you can get there, check it out. It is unbelievable. The screens coming at you to watch all the playoffs. How much fun would that be? Spending a weekend at the Parks Casino Sportsbook. Again, if you can't get there, you can check out the Bet Park Sportsbook online casino app with all the playoff stuff. It's a busy sports weekend, and they have everything. New customers will get, new casino users get 250 spins on the hot online slot. The sweetest collect them, plus up to $1,000 bonus back in their first 24 hours. BetParks.com has all the details. You got to be 21 in PA, New Jersey, Michigan, Maryland. If you're gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Sports is there. The app, Bet Park Sportsbook online casino app. Look, do you want Jalen Carter out catching passes? No. All right? Come on now. Not worth the risk, the time, the money. Keep your stars focused on doing what they do best. Same goes for your business. You don't want your top people buried in operations, tedious, time-consuming, redundant activities that wear them down. Togo can help any business look to reduce operating costs, from customer service and accounting to order management, logistics, admin, data entry, even complex multi-step operational processes. We take it off your plate. Every Togo program includes dedicated staff, custom automations, US-based process engineers who act as your quarterback, giving you complete control, total transparency, and instant efficiency. At Togo, they turn your playbook into performance. You call the plays, we execute. HarnessTogo.com. Scale smarter, work faster, stay focused on winning. Winning, stay focused. All right, win. Do they win a game? Do they win 2 games? Let's find out. That our man from the All PHLY Sixers show, Kyle Newbeck. What's up, brother?
Well, first of all, I have to ask, how did Devon get his own intro graphic and video that I saw recently? And you guys didn't include the sizzle reel of him playing Papa Shot in the office from our friends at Rothman, because that's one of the funniest clips I think I've ever seen of Devon.
So I will turn you over to Kyle. I will turn you over to VG, who makes the videos.
I did not see that. I have not been privy to that video. I used stuff I found off his Instagram, I think.
We will get it to you, the powers that be, because it's Devon at his best.
I will update it. You get it to me, I will update it.
All right.
Well, tell him what you're working on.
I'm trying to get an intro for you done. I didn't get it done in time. I'm hoping by the end of this segment it's finished and you can take a look at it.
Perfect. This is not about me. This is all about you have to get the most important Devon.
No, we're gonna make it about you. You got some doozy pictures on that Instagram account of yours.
I'm sure I do from back in the day. Yeah.
I'd rather talk about you than the Sixers, but can you give me any semblance of hope?
Yeah, I think I can give you some hope. Look, I'm not going to be picking the Sixers in this series, but
Right.
here's what I would tell you. Maxey and VJ averaged a combined 50 points a game against this team in the regular season. Granted, they shot like 47% from three, and that's probably what's going to come down by a lot in the playoffs, particularly with Maxey dealing with the hand issue. He's talked about how that's affected him as a jump shooter. But those two have shown they're not really VJ doesn't know what he doesn't know, right? This is not a kid who's got all the accumulated trauma of, oh boy, the Sixers always lose to the Celtics. So he comes in without fear. I think Maxey increasingly has figured out this matchup a little bit over the past couple of years because he really struggled against Boston.
Yeah, remember
early
they
in
would
his
run
career.
at him? Yeah.
Yeah. And look, they had Drew Holiday, Derek White, like a few guys to throw at him. Now maybe not as tough on that end. But here's the other thing. Paul George didn't play a single game in the regular season against the Boston Celtics. And I would argue, and we talked about this on our show yesterday, Anthony, he might be the key to this whole thing because he's one of the few guys that has a chance to guard one-on-one against Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and making them work for their baskets. Down the other end, big-time shot maker. The driving ability has been there more. He's going to open up the floor with the shooting ability as a catch-and-shoot guy. So, like, that's what it's going to come down to, right? They need PG to be kind of close to the guy that they thought they were getting when they signed him, and they need the backcourt to continue playing the way they did against Boston in the regular season. That's pretty straightforward to me. If you get, a great Kelly Oubre game, you get a great Quentin Grimes game, 1 out of the 5 or 6 games, fine. But it comes down to those 3 guys primarily.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's going to be interesting to see how Boston kind of defends it. Like, if I were them, I just run at Maxey, and I would just double Maxey and force Paul George and VJ. Like, I'd give VJ, go beat. If you're going to beat me, have the kid beat me.
So I agree with you, but that was their approach. And if you remember, way back on night 1 of the season,
And he had 30. What do you have? 34.
34, something like that. Yeah. So they tried that, and VJ, I think, just said, all right, you're going to give me these shots. I'm going to take them. And so I agree with you that I think that's probably how they'll play it. I think they'd rather live with a rookie and Paul George going at them than giving Maxey space and time to hunt matchups. And like if Peyton Pritchard's on the floor, they're going to probably try to get him lined up against Maxey whenever possible. Certain other guys, they'll match up hunt a little bit. But yeah, I think that's good. What it comes down to is you're relying on a 20-year-old rookie to create a lot in this series. And while I have no fear about VJ as a two-way guy, that he's going to go rebound, play defense, all that stuff. First playoff series against a really good team, elite two-way team, you got to keep the bar fairly low in terms of what he's going to offer on offense. And if he clears that, I feel like that's a bonus. It's got to be your veterans who carry you.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you mentioned it. And to me, Paul George has to be aggressive and look for a shot. Like, he's got to be the guy. Like, he's got to score. I think they're going to really go heavy after Tyrese. So to me, Paul George got to score 25.
Yeah.
So the flip side of how we're talking about the coverage of Tyrese, if he doesn't prove that he is a willing and able pull-up shooter from three, and that's been the main thing that he has struggled with since coming back, there is a chance that Boston just tries to play a little bit of bunker defense and sag off him a little bit and say, if you don't want to take these shots right now because you're bothered on the gather, like your mechanics are just a little bit off, then we're going to sit back in the paint and just dare a team with not a lot of shooting available to shoot threes against us. So then that turns into, can VJ make enough threes? Can Kelly Oubre make enough threes? I can't believe I have to say this, is Andre Drummond going to make enough threes to keep the defense honest from the corners?
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's the world we're kind of living in, because Boston is very much a pick your poison type team. They're going to say, we think this guy, if we give him 10 open threes, is only making 2 or 3 of them, and we think we'll benefit enough from shading toward Maxey or, just walling the paint off with what we got to win on that end of the deal. So Listen, here's the thing about the Celtics, and I know you wanted positivity. There are no real weaknesses on that team. They were an elite offense, elite defense. They're a great rebounding team. They don't turn the ball over, so they're not going to beat themselves. Like, they are extremely well coached. They have a fairly deep rotation. Like, it's an uphill battle here. But I think the good thing for the Sixers is they come in and expectations are low, right? Everybody's is picking Boston overwhelmingly, so they can come in without the pressure. VJ doesn't have to think about it that much. Maxey, everyone's talking about, the hand, this, that. They don't have Joel. You might be able to come in and steal one in game one before the Celtics know what hit them. And then maybe you get beat 4 straight times, but take it one game at a time and see what happens.
You're right. No, I love that concept. I do. I love that. I don't know. Like, you're right. Like, maybe you catch them kind of a little laissez-faire and the whole thing. How do you approach them? This is what scares me. How do you defend them? And this is where Nurse does not give me a lot of hope.
So I absolutely think you can't play your normal base defense where it's a lot of overhelp toward the middle, which does mean, by the way, you're probably going to concede some ugly possessions where, like, Jaylen Brown just goes right down the lane and scores 2 points. But that, like, the trade-off is you don't let them just get absolutely rolling from 3.
Right.
And they are still, they're not as not as aggressive hunting threes as they were when they won the title a few years ago, when they were like, it was disgusting almost how many threes they took. But they want to play drive, kick, swing. Like, that's their game, right?
Yeah.
A lot of guys who can dribble, pass, and shoot. And so every single guy that's out there, save for, Nemias Keita, who's not going to take threes, every other guy is going to be ready to shoot. And if they close out on him, drive into the basket, they reset the offense, and they just keep you in rotation. So you can't play the style of defense the Sixers have played where we're just going to give you the corner 3, right? Like, we're going to try to aggressively hunt steals and hunt turnovers. Boston kills that style of defense. So they're going to have to find a different path. You certainly can't play a lot of zone against a team that wants to shoot the way the Celtics do. I think it's going to have to be throwing all kinds of different stuff at them, right? If you got to press them a little bit and junk them up as they're
I would pressure the ball. I think you need to pressure the ball.
I think maybe you have to bring the bigs out high, like, especially when you have a Dembona. Just try to put some pressure on these guys, because they have a lot of guys who can dribble in a closeout attack style offense and push the pace in transition. They don't have one guy who's like, oh, man, what a ball handler that guy is, who's like a true point guard type guy that if you pressure them is just going to pick you apart. So I would try to get into them a little bit. And I would also, by the way, I'd challenge Jason Tatum a little bit, because while he's been pretty good, considering he's coming off a major injury recovery, he is still, like, not himself all the way physically. And so I think you'll see that more on defense. He has not been very good defensively since coming back, but really make him work for it, right? Like, get into his jersey, play some pressure, try to draw the ball loose. Like, Paul George in that Orlando game had his hands all over the ball against Paolo and Franz and some of those other guys. They're going to need him as part of the solution on defense for sure.
I'm so with you, buddy. So with you. I think it's paramount that you have that. Any Embiid update? Like, where do we stand?
We'll be at practice in a little bit. I don't suspect we're going to get anything concrete. As you know full well, that with this guy, it's always a little bit of just, you wake up every day and everyone learns what's going on. I think the fact that Nurse said the other night when Joel showed up for film session before the Orlando game and was like at the game with his teammates, that it was a mild surprise that he was there at all, because they're, he's at home and, getting work done or whatever. That to me is an indicator, like, this is not going to be we've heard that 2-week timeline thrown out by some, like, Twitter doctors and whatnot. I just don't see it, right? I think maybe if you extend this series to 6-7 games, maybe you could get them at the end of the first round. I think realistically, you're looking at, they got to get out of this round to get them back. And if they get them back sooner than that, great. But then you're also asking a guy who hasn't played in several weeks and is largely off his feet to jump back into a playoff series against a team that he hasn't even played that well against this season when he's been on the floor against the Celtics. So I would say low expectations, hope that you can get by with what you got, and hope that you can get them back if you shock the world here and pull off an upset.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I was arguing with some of the baseball guys last night. They're like, it's in a couple weeks. I went, dude, what do you just wake up? Like, Joel Embiid with an appendectomy.
Yeah, so if you just look at all the recent examples in the NBA, the average return time's like 3+ weeks, right? And that's average. So we're talking about a guy who historically throughout his career has come back a little bit slower on injuries. Like his body is just a little bit slower to recover. He had the oblique thing. That's a 12-day injury, right? Average of 12 days guys miss. He missed over 3 weeks. Like, it's just kind of how it goes. And that's not a commentary on his toughness or anything else. It's just, you have to be realistic about exactly how long it's going to take this guy to get back on the floor. And so you combine his own history with what the league's history is with this exact issue. Like, I just don't think you could set the expectation that he'll come back and he's going to save you. I don't think in the locker room they're treating it as anything I've heard as like, oh yeah, we just got to get it to game 3 or game 4 or whatever. Yeah. They're playing as if this is who we got. And if Joe comes back, great. If not, our job is to win without him.
Yeah, I think that's...
And that's the right mentality.
It is.
Right? You can't expect someone to just come out of, having an organ removed and like, hey, he flipped the series, right? It's got to be Tyrese and VJ and Paul and even the backup bigs, right? Andre Drummond can't go into this series like, I just got to get through 2 games and then Joel's going to go. He's got to go out there and hoop.
Yeah, he's got to ball out and he's got a board. What scares the hell out of me is they're just such a bad rebounding team. Yeah. And just getting smashed on the glass is a scary thing. Like, you're going to need VJ to contribute again. Like, he's been good. Long shot, long rebounds. He's active. You need him.
You don't believe in Bona on rebounds?
Listen, Adem had some incredible shot blocking moments the other night, but yeah, rebounding, not his thing. Anthony, we talked about that yesterday on the show, and I think my belief coming in is I know the Sixers want to try to play fast off of misses. You want to take advantage of Tyrese and VJ and some of these other guys getting up the floor quickly. I think you have to almost abandon the desire to play fast and bunker down, gang rebound.
Yes.
If you don't, the Celtics will kill you. And I thought they did a really good job of balancing that against Orlando, who Orlando is not as good of an offensive rebounding team, but the Sixers did a really good job. Like, VJ goes out and gets 11 rebounds in that game, and that's what it's going to take. They need to, instead of, hey, this is our way we play and this is what we're going to do, you have to look at the team in front of you, what they're good at, and say Boston has killed teams on the glass all year. Keita particularly has been awesome on that front. We got to commit all our resources to preventing, second and third chance possessions, and then worry about scoring and getting up the floor after that.
I'm completely with you, buddy. All right, we have the Kyle intro.
Yeah, it's raw.
Oh, no.
I'm going to tweak the transitions maybe, but I think this will give you a good idea.
All right, now you tell me you got to give me thumbs up, thumbs down off of VG's work, okay?
Okay. All right, VG. A lot of pressure here.
Yeah, I know.
He's from Hatboro, he's from Horseshoe, he's from Hatboro, Horseshoe. Westchester in the house, Gal Lubeck, Gal Lubeck.
Unbelievable.
The captain's hat is the greatest.
So that was from my bachelor party. We went to Austin, had a boat day on Lake Travis. I was the captain for the weekend, and that was then passed on to my best friend, who I was his best man. He wore that when we were in Las Vegas for another bachelor party. It was like, so that's been passed around the friend group a little bit. That's great, VG.
Sweet. I love the captains. And Tony the ref gave it a thumbs up. And he's an official. He said, count the bucket.
Count it, baby. Count it.
Kyle, we love you, buddy. What's the schedule?
So we are back for, I believe, pregame, postgame, and a watch along for Game 1 on Sunday. So from 12:30 onward, because we got a 1 p.m. start on Sunday, you guys can ride with us for your pregame, your during the game second screen, and your postgame PHLY Sixers show. We'll have we're at Sixers practice today around noon in a little bit. So any updates, you watch for us on Twitter, YouTube, all that. We'll have Nick Nurse and all the guys up there. So a lot of stuff happening, and obviously go Flyers too. We're excited about our hockey boys. It's gonna be a busy week, busy couple of weeks here. Hopefully longer than that.
Yeah, it's good for us. We're excited, man. You keep up. You guys are the greatest. All right, best coverage in the city. All PHLY Sixers. Thanks, brother.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
There he is. God.
He gave us some optimism and gave me a little hope. I think they can punch him in the face the first game and take one. Well, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, I hear you. We got Doc. Look at this. So, one of the incredible stories has been the return of Tyson Forrester.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Nobody thought that Tyson Forrester would be able to come back.
Mm-mm.
So, every other week we love talking to our Rothman docs, and I want some insight on that whole thing because it's a huge, he's been a big time, Martone comes, but so does Forrester, and having a real sniper and that shot back helps. Let's welcome Dr. Benjamin Rogers from our good friends at Rothman Orthopedics. Dr. Ben, how are you? Good morning.
Fellas, good morning. Thanks for having me on. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, we got you great. You look great. You sound great. It's fantastic. How flyered up are you right now?
Can't wait. My wife and I live about a mile from the stadium in South Philly. I'm a Philly native, so hard not to be romantic this time of year with the Flyers back in the playoffs. Sixers, they'll draw like a heated rival here. This is the best time of year for sports, in my opinion. So this is, city's got to be charged up.
You're a true sportsman. I love it, man.
Amen
we even
to
got
that.
Phillies Braves over the weekend too.
We'll see. Yeah, we could use them to pick it up a little bit, but nothing like having a rival in town and supposed to be getting good weather. Great night for baseball tonight. I'll have family in the park tonight too, so it's great time of year for sports.
My man. Now, one of the great stories of the Flyers has been a return of Tyson Forrester. Now, we know you're not his doctor, but we're talking about the injury that he suffered and coming back from that arm surgery. It's been such a big deal for the Flyers. Nobody thought, Doc, that he'd be able to come back. What do you think was the story here?
Yeah, absolutely. So to dovetail on that, I'd like to note I'm not providing any specific medical advice or commenting on the care or treatment of any one individual player, and that these comments are intended to be more general to provide insight. When we think about people coming back from, upper extremity surgery, whether that be shoulder, elbow, wrist, hand, all that stuff, especially if, there's any form of, surgical intervention involved, you're expecting these people to go through a period of, immobilization, protected weight bearing, allow for healing. And then, it's sort of, depending on the nature of the operation, they're, working through a gradual progression, getting their motion back and ultimately their strength back. These guys are, they're freaks of nature. They take great care of their bodies. You've seen it throughout the years in all various sports, people coming back, at various time points along the continuum in their rehab. Obviously, the type of procedure kind of will dictate timing and return. But the fact that he's made such a dramatic turnaround and is being back, really not only is a huge boost to the team, but obviously really exciting to have him be part of the fold again. You have to think certainly he's met all the milestones necessary to get back out there to be an asset. It's really really remarkable.
With these sorts of injuries and this recovery from the surgery, what is the lingering effects on the route to being 100%?
Yeah, it's a great question. Like I said, it depends on the nature of the operation. Sometimes post-operatively, folks can develop a little stiffness, a little scar tissue, depending on the type of procedure that's done. Obviously, they're working back not only to be mobile again, but also get all that strength back after that period laid up. And then it's about getting their lungs and legs under them again, back on the ice. Feeling the stick in the hand, puck handling, working their shot back. Certainly when you think about the mechanics of hockey, that the lead hand or that dominant hand, bottom hand, plays a really important role in touch. It plays a really important role in shot. So you think about the bottom hand being like the real loader and the lever there, especially for these high velocity slap shot guys. Finding that feel again in touch after an operation, can take time. But that's what you're working through post rehab once you're back out on the ice, working through things, learning, feeling, getting your body again, getting checked again, all that stuff after progressing to that contact phase of return to play. But, I would say, having that touch and feel back after some time, particularly for folks who have been laid up for a while, is one of those lingering things you do wonder and worry about. But like I said, have to think he's met those milestones and demonstrated, the ability to be a huge asset to the team.
Is there any, because obviously Doc, about playoff hockey and the physicality that takes place. Is there any re-injury concerns when you're dealing with that kind of physicality?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have to tell you, hockey's a rough sport. It's a high velocity sport. Athlete safety, no matter the level, right? Professional all the way down through PHLY, athlete safety is paramount. So post-operatively and post-procedurally, people who are recovering from injuries, you have to believe, he's clear. You talk about medical clearance, like he's met those milestones to be out there and put his body on the line. I bet if you pulled that entire locker room or every locker room around the NHL, these guys at this time of the year, are dealing with aches and pains and little things. But they grind through it. They're impressive athletes. These guys are elite. They're at the top of the game. Theoretically, yes, is there a risk of re-injury in the sport? Sure. Is he at more risk than the average player? Hard to say. Having met the requirements to get back out there and participate, he's definitely demonstrated the confidence to do that. The last, one of the lingering things too is you worry about these guys who, getting that confidence back, being out there skating, with their normal cadence and feeling confident to go out and, lay a shot on net, rough somebody up. I mean, that's just the nature of it. But he's having been cleared to play. He's ready to rock. You have to think he's ready to rock.
Yeah, and the good thing, Dr. Ben, is I was talking to Todd, and we were talking about at least Forrester. He doesn't have the wear and tear of the season that he had to deal with, so there is a degree of freshness that he brings to the lineup.
Certainly. Certainly, having, it's provided he's, kept that aerobic capacity, and just thinking about too, like having a key cog in the rotation back out there for not just for performance and, expectations for them, but, for morale for the team. It's got to be incredible having him back. So, we're certainly looking forward to this run. You draw a heated rival, much like the Sixers did, historic rival. Crosby at the end of his career, potentially a lot of bad blood over the years. There'll be the Sixers, Flyers, 6 years out. I mean, finally back. You have to think, South Broad's going to be rocking and rolling.
I love it. I love you're a South Philly guy. So what's your watch schedule, and what are you going to eat? You got to get some good takeout.
Yeah, always. I'm getting ready to get geared up for the weekend. For me, wings, pizza, and a light beer. That's usually my go-to. Yeah.
That sounds like a good. That's a good prescription right there. I'm down, baby. I love
no
it.
shortage of that in my neighborhood either. So,
where are you at? With part?
So it's
Park?
Like just east past Young, like 6th and
nice.
Yeah, exactly. So right down there, just
my
a
cousin
short
has a
mile.
store right. It's called Boys Town, Girls Town, right on past Sunken Moore.
Okay. Oh, I mean that's right in my hood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. All right. I'll see you at Labor 2 one night. All right, Doc?
There you go. Ant, thanks for having me on. Go Flyers, go Sixers,
Go Flyers,
Phils.
go Sixers, Doc. Out the bag.
There we go. Take care.
See you, buddy. From the Rothman Orthopedics, we love our doctors at Rothman. Checking in. All right. Let's do this. Let's take a quick TO. We'll come back, and we got TV Todd. Now, TV Todd's going to give us, obviously, what we're watching, but he's just going to talk Flyers. Like, that's got to end. He'll throw in a couple things, but we know what we're watching. And I know what TV Todd's watching. He's right now over the moon with Flyers being back. But first, let's go a word from our friends. How about our friends at Philly Sports Trips? Yes, Flyers are back in the playoffs, and True Fan Travel, which is Philly Sports Trips, is taking you to Pittsburgh. All right, now through the 19th. That's it. True Fan Travel, the ultimate Flyers playoff package. Private charter bus from South Philadelphia tonight. It's not too late to jump on board. 2 nights at the Omni William Penn Hotel. All-inclusive tailgate, unlimited food and drinks, your ticket to the game, an exclusive meet and greet with Flyers alumni, Brad Marsh, Chris Terry, Doug Crossman, Steve Coates. That's right, Coach's Corner, live from the tailgate. This is the first playoff road trip with fans in the building in 8 years. Spots are limited or moving fast. Book now, truefantravel.com. That's truefantravel.com. It's not too late. You want to go? You can get in. Thanks to our friends at Philly Sports Trips, True Fan Travel. Go Flyers.
You know that moment, the one when you realize you've left your favorite sunglasses at the beach, on the roof of your car, and drove away, and they fell off at a gas station 3 states away. Well, that happened to me. I've been there as well. I know the pain. I was in Toronto, left my nice sunglasses at a hotel in another country. I never got them back. So then I was afraid to wear nice sunglasses, to buy them and actually use them. Then I found Shady Rays, and it changes the game. These sunglasses, they're made for real life. They're seriously good looking. They're polarized, they're durable, and they're not stupidly expensive. And here's the crazy, crazy wild part. If you lose them or break them on even day one, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair. No guilt trip, just replacements. So now I actually wear my sunglasses without fear. Take them on hikes around the city, concerts, mosh pits, on the boat, wherever, because Shady Rays is the eyewear that has your back. So go to shadyrays.com and use the code PHLYSR for 40% off. 40% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Shadyrays.com.
All right, welcome back. We are geeked up.
Yes, we are.
What a great weekend. What do you got? Some chat?
K-Red, I'm curious. He said he likes the texture of your shirt.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, K-Red. All right.
It's relaxing.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Summer. Logo of summer. I like my spring-summer garb. Although I like Tony Ref. Tony Ref looks good.
He looks phenomenal today. I went down and saw him.
Come around. Show everybody. Hurry up, Tone. Model your Flyers like
this fits
good look,
ridiculous.
Man. Good look. You got the good. Yeah. Look at that. My man.
You got the minimal neck. Got it buttoned up.
Oh, looks good. It looks good. Now you can unbutton the shirt. Go listen to this. He's a neck freak.
That's a great look. He looks nice and clean.
He looks sharp.
Yeah,
man.
Sharp.
All right, joining us now on the Xfinity mobile call-in line, TV time.
Act like a man. You can't handle the truth.
It's time for TV time.
Look at that! Look at that, dude! Oh my!
You know why I'm wearing this, right?
His history with the Pens, baby.
The shift.
Yeah,
dude. The greatest memory. Like, I think Flyers, Penguins, and like that was legitimate. The last 2 series were fugazi, right? That was legitimate. I mean, how about that? How wild, all the goals. It was incredible.
I will never forget. There are a couple playoff memories I have that will stick with me forever. Being in the building for that shift, I thought the place was literally rocking. I could not. I mean, it felt like an earthquake.
Yes.
It was incredible, incredible.
So where do we begin with this thing? Because, we've been talking about him all year long. You're a tremendous Flyers fan, hockey fan. Your was a goalie, college goalie. Like, you've just been a big part of this whole thing. You know the guys, Jonesy and Danny, very well.
Yep.
The exceeding, we've lived it on the text chain, right? Like, this exceeding has happened since March 10th. You're a story guy. It's one of the great stories that we've ever seen in sports here.
It's really what makes sports so great. And, it to me, it encapsulates the cliche that you got to play the game. You never know what happens. You got to play the game, because you really do never know what's going to happen in sports. I mean, we're talking about it a lot with Sixers Celtics, right? We think we know what's going to happen, but we don't know what's going to happen. We have no idea. Injuries, Martone being released super early to come join us. Like, Forster coming back, and the doc just talking about that. I mean, you just never know with sports. That's why you have to stay in the game. All season long, people are complaining and complaining and complaining. You got to enjoy the ride, man. You have to enjoy it. But this is a great story. It's very parallel to 2010. There's no doubt about that. It feels like it. But here's our challenge, cuz. Here's our challenge. We have to still remember our expectations, because I truly felt that when they won that game against the Canes, I truly felt that whatever happens going forward now is gravy for me. Do I want them to win this series? Of course. Do I think they could? Yeah. But if they don't, I already got what I needed to get out of this series, and I can't wait for the future.
Yeah. I listen, I would agree with that. I will say this, and you said it earlier, they can win. Like, that's if they lose, okay, well, I think it's obvious, right? Like, this is the ascent. Like, we haven't, like, we're about to take off. Nobody thought that this would be takeoff season, right? Like, if you use that analogy, March the 9th, I take Massimo and his two buddies to the Rangers game. They got drilled 6-2. It was miserable. The building was quiet. There was Ranger fans sitting behind me. It was just like, it was ugly. I go down afterwards to see Todd. Like, dude, hang in, let's go. Just stay the course, the whole thing. And, he wasn't in any kind of panic mode. He was just kind of trying to assess it and fix the room and all this stuff. And then the next day, that's when it all begins. That's when the ascent happened. And over the last month, Todd, it's been one of the great stories that they have played like this every night. And now you got the young versus the old and the bitter rivals in the Penguins.
I know. I love the storyline for this series so much, because I think you said it this morning, right? Sid Crosby joins the league in 2005?
05.
And Martone is born the next year.
Yes.
I mean,
born in 06.
I love the storyline, and that's what makes me think the torch can be passed to the Flyers in this series. Sid is great. He's amazing. He's done it all already, right? But at the end of the day, we have the speed. We have arguably the better goaltender. I think we have a system that works really well against a team like the Penguins. I think the torch could be passed in this series. And if it's not, if we just play, if it's not, this experience for these guys, and certainly the experience they've had over the last month, will ensure that we are a playoff team year after year after year, and we are in the conversation. And I'm convinced we are going to be a challenger for that cup within 2 to 3 years.
Totally right. I totally believe it. You see it, you believe it, the whole thing. All right, but let's get to the series. Who's your key? Like, give me circle circle what you think happens. Now, we know that Vladar's a given, right? Like, so take Vladar because I agree with you. You have an advantage there. That's a big advantage over Skinner. Give me your wild card for the series.
My wild card? Well, I'll tell you what I'm looking for. I'm looking to see how big the stage is for these young guys. I'm looking to see, how even like a Cates handles this. Certainly we're all looking to see how Porter and Mitchkov handle this, but I'm looking for guys like Owen Tippett, because this series is made for Owen Tippett. The speed that guy has playing against this older Penguins team, physical older Penguins team, I want to see how this guy should be getting behind them on every shift. And I want to see how he handles that. But to me, it's really looking about how they handle the big stage. The Penguins the game plan. I mean, listen, Todd knows it better than anybody. The Penguins' game plan is going to be physicality. It's going to be to knock these guys around and say, welcome to the NHL. I want to see how these guys react to it. But listen, there's no secret. Vladar is the one to watch, because goaltending is everything in playoffs.
Yep.
And in this particular series, I think we have the edge, but he's got to deliver. We got to see it.
Totally right. Mm-hmm. Totally right.
All this talk, they might sweep. You guys got me all fired up between everyone's outfit, Tony's outfit, Todd's outfit.
Todd rocking his Giroux jerseys.
They were betting in the chat. They're like, Todd's got to be wearing orange when he comes on.
Oh yeah,
I love the virtual background too.
It's not a virtual background.
I was like, what background?
Where are you at?
I'm upstairs in my kitchen.
Where'd you think he was?
It looks like it's a rink in the back. Oh my God.
I see how you can see it's a rink.
Yeah. It looks like a rink.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, if I squint and make my eyes blurry, yes.
Yeah, I see. It's the ceiling. I see. It looks like
I'm seeing a rink. I'm seeing things. I'm seeing rinks.
Todd's got a rink painted on his kitchen ceiling. I love it.
Oh my God,
love it, Todd. Nice
work. How bad my eyes are. I'm seeing rinks. Holy moly! I'm like, Todd's got the virtual background. Looks like a rink. Freaking love it.
It looks like he's sitting up high, looking down at the rink. Yes.
I'm like, it's like I'm trying to conjure up a little Danny here, a little Danny and Jonesy.
I know. I love it. I just freaking love it. All right. What do you want to? We got a couple minutes. Is there something? I mean, we're all watching Flyers. Like, so.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Listen, we're watching Flyers. We're watching Sixers. We're watching Phillies. I get it. We're locked in on the Flyers until this baby runs out of steam. So I get it. I'll tell you a couple series if you feel like just decompressing over the weekend. That I'm pretty excited for. The one that I'm really excited for that launched this week, and thank you Netflix for putting out all episodes at one time, so I don't have to do this week to week nonsense. The series Beef is back on Netflix. Now you may remember Beef was a couple years ago and was the storyline of these two people battling out road rage and all kinds of crazy stuff, that sort of thing. Well, this season is really cool. So what they decided to do is do sort of like an anthology. So this next season is all new cast, all new story. But what's really cool about it, the stars of this, they have two of my favorite actors in modern day in this series as the two leads. The first one is Oscar Isaac. Oscar Isaac from Ex Machina. I mean, this guy is one of the best actors working today. So he's the star of it. He is the general manager of a country club, and him and his wife, it opens up, him and his wife are arguing and fighting, and a country club employee films them, and then there's this battle between all of them throughout the series. And his wife is played by this amazing actress, Carey Mulligan. Now, Carey is in one of my favorite movies of all time called A Promising Woman. She's incredible. She's a British actress. These are two of the best actors working today. So I am so pumped about this. And Netflix put out all episodes this week, as they should. So Beef, I think, is going to be a big weekend hit.
I like it. I like it. That sounds good. Any is there another one?
Well, I think the series that everybody seems to be pretty excited about is this series called The Audacity. Now, it's being written up as one of the highest rated series of all time, but it's kind of one of those series that's a little bit buried. You have to find it. It's going to be on AMC Plus. Who needs another, subscription-based service? But they're showing a couple of the episodes now on various platforms, like Prime Video is showing some of them, Samsung TV is showing some. Here's the most interesting one, because TikTok, they're showing the first episode in little bites over 21 TikTok videos. So
wow.
Yeah.
What's the premise?
So the premise of it is it's created by the guys who did Succession and a couple other big I think maybe even Billions, but it takes place in Silicon Valley. It's a Silicon Valley story. Zach Galifianakis is in it. There's a whole bunch of interesting people. I watched. Yeah, it's got, what's cool about it is like it's the Silicon Valley exec and he's going to a therapist, kind of like the Sopranos kind of situation. The therapist is played by Sarah Goldberg, who was amazing in the HBO show Barry. So it's really good, but it's getting ridiculous reviews. So what it'll do, it'll play on AMC Plus, and then eventually will make its way to another platform, just like The Walking Dead did, or series.
Yeah.
So, but right now they're showing a bunch of episodes to kind of get people hooked into it, but it's getting ridiculous reviews.
That's cool.
So it was created by Jonathan Glatzer. Like it's really it's really looking really good. So I'm excited about that. And then lastly, some people are going to the theaters this weekend. They want to see this movie, The Drama, that's out there. It's an A24 film about this wedding couple, Zendaya and the wedding couple, and it's pretty dark. And they want to see Faces of Death. They want to see the new Mummy movie. And I'm, of course, being the artsy person that I am, I, of course, need to see the new Lorne Michaels documentary, which was done by Morgan Neville, Morgan Neville is an incredible documentarian. Yeah. So the fact that he's doing the Lorne Michaels documentary, I'm pretty excited to see it. And I see that it even opened up at King of Prussia this weekend.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. All right, brother, but I know where you'll be tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Here's the interesting thing I'll tell you before I roll. So where I'm going to be watching this is a little odd tomorrow night. I'm going to be in New York because I'm going to see Dog Day Afternoon tomorrow afternoon. Oh, wow. That's
with
awesome.
the guys from the Bear. And then, so I'll be watching the game in New York. So I'll be in hostile territory, and I'll report back next week to you guys how that's going to shake out. But let's go Flyers.
We'll look for you on the text chain. Let's go Flyers.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Uninvited, unapologetic, ignited. Let's go.
I love it. It's phenomenal. In fact, we should play it again to start the Love Philly.
I agree.
All right. Let's go back in the day. Back.
We're going back.
You have one?
Yeah, we have one. I'm going back to this, dude. I mean, we got the Fly guys. Playoffs are back. Let's go back to like a 24, 25-year-old captain holding the cup back in the day.
Look at that. That's fabulous.
Yeah.
All right.
Good times.
I love it. Stay tuned. That's right. The Love Philly Hour coming up next. Special guest, Pat Croce. Of course, our boy Danny D is hanging some Flyer revelry. So get right back on, chat. Come back on. Drop off. Come on. Love Philly.
We all silly like the mayor.